What's up, YouTube? Bluff City here with another reaction video. And the old governor of Minnesota, who would have been the vice president of the United States, and thank goodness he's not. I'm talking about good old Tim Walz, aka Tampon Timmy. He's in a bit of hot water right now because with all the Somalis that are in Minnesota right now, apparently there's a lot of welfare fraud going on that he knew about and did little to nothing about. And that's not good. Not good at all. It makes a lot of people who did not vote for him and Kamala to run this country a lot happier that they made that decision. And with that being said, make sure you guys give this video a like, share, and subscribe for more videos because I promise you do not want to miss a new one.
Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can.
Governor Tim Walz is struggling to defend reports of massive fraud that occurred under his watch, some of which reportedly went to the Somali terrorist organization al-Shabaab. The New York Times is reporting everyone, including Walz, was ignoring the warning signs because they were fearful of alienating the Somali community. And a lawyer representing one of the Somalis convicted of fraud said, quote, "It was like stealing money from the cookie jar." But instead of taking responsibility, Walz is attacking, guess who? Trump.
Yo, this is not a good look for you, old Timmy. Tim. You knew this was going on in your state. You knew this was going on, and you did little to nothing about it because you fear these people that are trying to turn your state that you are supposed to run, that you are responsible for, into a third world country. Come on, man.
That is totally disconnected with demonizing an entire group of people who came here fleeing civil war and created a vibrant community that makes Minnesota and this country better. But that's Donald Trump. Deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud. My God, there's a big difference between fraud and corruption is something he knows about.
You know, Lydia, I did
So
not
do you, Tim. So do you.
hear an answer to, do you take any responsibility from the governor there?
Of course not. And I think what I get so frustrated about is like this forcing us to choose sides. I mean, two things can be true at the same time. They could be fleeing a civil war, but they could also be coming here and committing fraud. They are not mutually exclusive. Just to give you an example of how bad this fraud is, there was one particular program that was created in the state of Minnesota to support homeless folks. It was budgeted for about $2 million, 2.6 when it started in 2020. And according to the feds, the program's cost because of the fraud ballooned to more than $100 million. So going from 2 million to 100 million because of this fraud being taken by these people who weren't entitled to this money. No services were actually provided under Tim Walz's watch. You're right. He should take some accountability for that.
Well, and Joey, part of the reason this wasn't gone after so hard is because they didn't want to offend the Somalis living in the community.
Yeah.
Which is, wow.
You know, I got to go back to the
fact that he was more concerned about offending the Somalis instead of cracking down on all that fraud going on in that state that he runs. He's the governor, and this happened under his watch. But he's more afraid of offending these people. Come on, man. Just imagine. I really want everyone watching this video to think about this. Imagine had him and Kamala became president, vice president of this country. He would have been the vice president and probably used these same fucking excuses. If I'm just being real with y'all. And Cackling, come on, let's be real. She's the word salad queen. She would have figured out how to spin this left, right, up, down, north, south, east, and west. And of course, the people that love her so much and think that she can do no wrong, obviously, is they're going to side with her and Tampon Tim about this whole thing. Oh, they just want to help their people. It's not fraud. They'll probably say something along those lines if I'm being real with you. I mean, come on, man. He really wants people to believe that this is not all that bad. Like, come on. All that taxpayer money leaving the United States, right? I'm not for any of that shit. Like, yeah, dude, he really shot himself in the foot trying to make it seem like, oh, let me talk about Trump for a second. Like, no, this has to do with you and you only, and you allowing this to go on in your state that you say is so great, and everyone's telling you like, bruh, you got all this shit going on, and what the hell are you doing about it? Nothing.
A man who would abandon his unit right before they deployed to war not only doesn't get any of my respect, but he also can't sink so low that he surprises me either. And so maybe the cowardice that was in him when he ran away from deploying to war is a part of why he couldn't tell people no. You know, oh, well, we're going to do 2 million, but they want 100 million. Okay, well, we'll do 100 million. I don't have much respect for this man. It makes sense that he couldn't run his state very well. My hope for those in Minnesota is that they find somebody else soon.
Well, actually, on that note, Tom, folks in Minnesota are really upset about this. And the question is, you know, will the GOP be able to take back the governor's mansion in 2026? Because with help of this.
Yeah, well, they should be angry. We got the governor here who's trying to blame Trump, and he's touting his AAA bond rating of his state to try to answer that question. And you've got a community that was committing fraud on a massive scale, and he called them a vital and vibrant part of our community. I wonder if the citizens of Minnesota agree with that they're a vibrant part of their community.
No, these are taxpayers, Lydia. I mean, these are folks who are sitting there trying to make a living day to day, survive on what they've got, and they're watching this and hearing an attorney of a convict say it was like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah.
That is absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. And look, shout out to the people of Minnesota that know about this and are absolutely giving Tim Walz the work right now. The work of God for him fucking up big time by not cracking down on this and nipping it in the bud like as soon as possible. Because now he's trying to backtrack and be like, oh, Trump, blah, 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 blah. People don't want to hear that. No, this ain't got nothing to do with him. This is what you allowed, sir, in your state. Like, come on. I mean, God forbid if a Republican ran state, a Republican governor, excuse me, did anything similar to this. Oh, it's game over. They would make sure that is like the hottest news for about a month straight. And everybody, not just people on the left, but people on the right too, they would be on that governor's ass as they should. As they should. But since it's a guy like Tim Walz, like he just wants to play dumb, like he doesn't like, oh, they're part of the community and they do such great things. Now there might be some out there that do, okay? I'm not gonna sound too disingenuous here. Of course, there's probably some out there that do just work and not bother people and have nothing to do with this. But then the ones that are participating in all this fraud and all this nonsense are making it harder for the ones that don't participate in that. And now everybody's got to be punished for it, which is why President Trump, like when he found out about it, he started to crack down on, he started to do this when the National Guardsman got taken, one of those National Guardsmen taken out. He started to crack down on people coming from third world countries over here and say, whoa, hold up. Y'all can't come over here right now until we get all this shit situated because there's just too much going on with way too many of y'all over here trying to turn America into a third world country. It's absolutely insane. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna end the video right there. I do appreciate y'all for watching this video all the way through to the end. Thank you so much for doing that. Also, make sure you hit the link in my description for my link tree, and then that way you could support this channel directly via Cash App or PayPal, or the Super Thanks feature is also available if you want to do that. If you choose to contribute to this channel, my way of saying thank you is to shout you out in my next video. I've done it before. I will do it again. That being said, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Happy holidays. Peace.